But first, let's ponder for a moment about the woman who is one geriatric heartbeat away from the presidency and has been deemed the future of the Democratic Party.
President Kamala Harris is because she is indeed the future of the party.
And what a party it will be, led by this intellectual heavyweight, this visionary.
We all watched the television coverage of just yesterday. That's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
Let's be honest, every time Kamala Harris walks on stage, half the country's already bracing for impact because somewhere between her nervous laugh, her word salads, and her motivational poster logic, we're reminded this woman is one geriatric heartbeat away from the presidency. And now, with Biden stumbling through speeches and rumors swirling about a Democratic reshuffle, some are whispering that Harris might actually be the future of the party. The question is, future of what kind of party? Because if Kamala's at the wheel, buckle up.
Yes, President Kamala Harris is a real possibility. Not to be elected, she is unelectable, but they may convince Joe Biden to step down and elevate her to the position of the most powerful human being in the world. In the lead up to the election, why they would contemplate such a move when the polls show that Harris would lose by an even bigger margin to Trump than Biden, well, I can't answer that. The Democrats are demented and increasingly desperate, so anything is possible. But let's go back to Kamala, who, you know, she's out there on these streets.
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me tell you, you're right, Taraji. There is so much at stake in this moment. The majority of us believe in freedom and equality. But these extremists, as they say, they're not like us.
Before she became the queen of viral gaffes, Kamala Harris was California's top prosecutor, a career that made her tough on crime until it didn't. She rose fast, district attorney, attorney general, senator, then vice president. It was like a political elevator stuck on turbo mode. But with that speed came a problem. Nobody really figured out what she stood for. One day she's the progressive prosecutor. The next she's lecturing us about the significance of the passage of time. And speaking of time, hers might be running out, unless of course Joe Biden does the unthinkable.
Yeah, girl, I'm out here on these streets. She released that cringeworthy out this week, but I guess it's just a little bit better than this cringeworthy performance.
To the lovely people of Wakanda, I know you will make the right choice. And as always, Wakanda forever. Paid for by Kamala Harris.
Let's talk about the big political what if reports claim that some inside the Democratic Party have floated a wild idea. What if Biden steps down before the election and Harris gets elevated? Sounds like something out of a political fan fiction forum, right? But desperate times make desperate moves. Polls show Biden trailing Trump and Harris. She'd lose by an even bigger margin, which raises the real question. Why would anyone think this is a good idea? Maybe because they're out of ideas, or maybe because the Democratic strategy these days feels like close your eyes and hope it works.
About Kamala is the wisdom. What other leader could bestow such gems of wisdom on the populace?
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context. Sails on the boat, go round and round. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
And then there's Kamala's greatest hits collection, the stuff that keeps meme pages alive. Remember the "I'm out here in these streets" line? Delivered like she was auditioning for a TikTok collab. Or that infamous Wakanda Forever ad, was the one so awkward it made late night writers reconsider their careers. Then there's her signature wisdom. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? Or the timeless classic. There's great significance to the passage of time. At this point, she's less of a politician and more of a walking inspirational calendar. Except the quotes don't inspire confidence, just confusion.
Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
But beyond the memes, Harris's real baggage comes from her time as a prosecutor. She built her career locking people up, and not just anyone. Critics say she jailed over 1,000 low-level offenders for marijuana while laughing about smoking it herself. Fact checkers later clarified that some of those numbers were exaggerated. But the optics? Brutal. Add to that the claim she kept people in prison longer than their sentences to use them as cheap labor. And suddenly her progressive label starts looking more like a marketing accident. Even Tulsi Gabbard, during that 2019 Democratic debate, torched her live on stage, exposing every inconsistency in front of millions. It was the kind of political KO that even Twitter had to applaud.
Here's the thing. Who doesn't love a yellow school bus? Right? Can you raise your hand if you love a yellow school bus, right? You guys are gonna see. You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes. Oh my goodness. With your own eyes, I'm telling you.
And if her record wasn't messy enough, 2020 brought another headline. During the height of the protests, Harris tweeted support for the Minnesota Freedom Fund, a group raising bail money for arrested protesters. Critics jumped on it, claiming she was bankrolling chaos. Fact checkers later said the claims of her directly paying out money weren't backed up by proof, but the damage was done. The clip of her saying, "They're not going to stop and they shouldn't," became internet gold. Funny how that movement did stop, right after the election. Timing really is everything.
She looks at me and she says, "Oh, look at you. You're prettier than you're on television. Mike, look at her." No.
Fast forward to now. And the numbers don't lie. Harris's approval ratings have been bouncing between A and please make it stop. Even Democratic strategists admit her public image is a problem. Still, the idea of her becoming president isn't far-fetched. Constitutionally speaking, it's one Joe Biden cough away. And with every awkward laugh and every new clip of her explaining how the bus goes round and round, more voters start wondering, is this really the plan?
I love Venn diagrams. I really do. I love Venn diagrams. It's just something about those three circles.
That's enough. That's enough. We can be here all day looking at Kamala being an absolute clown show, but
Democratic leaders keep calling her the future of the party. But if that's true, what does the future look like? A mix of buzzwords, stage speeches, and TikTok videos about vibes. Even some progressives have distanced themselves, saying the party needs someone with clearer conviction, not another focus grouped smile. Meanwhile, conservatives treat her like comedy material that writes itself. And honestly, can you blame them? Here's the truth. Kamala Harris is a political paradox. Half politician, half punchline. For her fans, she's breaking glass ceilings. For her critics, she's breaking patience records. But one thing's undeniable. If Joe Biden's presidency stumbles, Kamala Harris isn't just waiting in the wings. She is the wings. And depending on who you ask, that's either inspiring or terrifying. So what do you think? Is Kamala Harris the future of the Democratic Party or the final punchline in America's longest political joke? Drop your thoughts below, and if you survived the passage of time, hit that like button.